Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. And this is the day that the Lord has made, and we're here to rejoice and here to be glad in it. Welcome to Hope TV. I'm Dewey Smith. I'm one of the Hope dealers here, and I'm so excited to tune in to get a daily dose of hope here at the Hope TV, where we're all about entertaining faith. Faith that's engaging and faith that's entertaining and faith that is transformative. And it is my prayer today that you are ready for a daily dose of hope. So I'm so excited to everybody who's tuned in. So thankful, so very happy that you're here with us on this Tuesday. Listen, we've made it to the first Tuesday, the first day of February 2022. I mean, can you believe how quickly the first year of the month commenced and concluded? We're already in the month two. Just 32 days into a new year, and I'm still thankful and still excited about what's left for us in the next 330 plus days. Great things are happening. I hope you're ready, and I hope you can feel and sense that something new and something fresh and something incredible is headed your way. I want you just to anticipate that. And even if you can't feel it right now, I just want you to believe something fresh and something new and something incredible is headed your way. So welcome to the first month. And so good to have you with us, everybody, today. So thankful for everybody who's here with us, Helen, Henning, everybody who's tuned in. Why don't you drop us a line and let us know the city and the state and the country from whence you're viewing. We take your viewership very, very seriously here at the Hope TV, and I want to hear from you. So drop me a line, let me know the city, state, and country from whence you're viewing. Um, it means the world to us. I mean, we've been rocking strong with Hope TV for almost 23 months now. This is the 23rd month. 2 weeks, it'll be 23 months that we had our first broadcast here on the Hope TV. So we're about 23 months in and still get it going strong. And our season 6 is going to start in a few weeks as well. And so, which is really like season 10, to be honest, because the first 7, 8 months we didn't do it in seasons. We just went every week. But so season 6 is getting ready to get started. We're already preparing. We're actually in post production with most of our shows now, getting ready to go to air with them. So we're excited about it, and I'm just thankful. So drop me a line. Let me know the city, state, country from which you're viewing. Everybody who's viewing today, whether you're watching through Apple TV or Roku or Twitch or Amazon or Fire TV, whether it's YouTube, Facebook. Blessings to you, Tina Williams. Glad to have you. Whether it's YouTube, Facebook, whether you're watching through Twitter, whether you're watching today through the Dewey Smith website. Glad to have you, Colleen Davis from New Orleans. From New Orleans, blessings to you. What a beautiful place. Love New Orleans. If you're watching through the House of Hope West Point website, shout out to my House of Hope West Point family. Those who may be viewing through that website or the House of Hope Atlanta website. Shout out to House of Hope Atlanta, the mother church. And if there are some who are viewing through the HTV now, the Hope TV, however you're viewing, just want to thank you for your viewership. It means the world to us. So drop us a line. I want y'all to communicate with me. Let me know how you're feeling today. And I want you to just make sure that you're engaging with us. And if you're watching through a platform that will allow you to either subscribe, like, comment, or share. Good morning to you, Edward Reith. Blessed to have you with us today. Thank you for joining us on Facebook, Edward Reith. So if you're watching through a platform that will allow you to either comment, to subscribe, every time you subscribe, that helps us tremendously in terms of our ability to leverage our platform. Subscribe. The more subscribers we have, that's a blessing. So you come on and subscribe. You can like the like button helps us in amazing ways in terms of our algorithms and with our engagements. That like button is so important. So you got to just hit the like button, particularly if you're on Facebook and YouTube. You got to hit the like button, man. Just keep hitting it. Just keep hitting it. You don't know what that means to us. That like button is like giving money to us. So if you think about it, something to say that bless you, hit the like button. If something you like that said, hit the like button. If you watch something and you didn't like what we said, but you like what we said the previous time, hit the like button. If you love us but may not like the show, hit the like button. That like button is really major for us because it helps us tremendously. Good to have you with us this morning, Tom from Victorville, California. Appreciate you for your support. Always a blessing to have you here with us, Tom, and from the West Coast. And so that like button is important. The comments are important because they help us with our engagements as well. And especially in forums like this, live kind of sessions, well, all the sessions really, because even when you leave comments or questions, it's helpful. Good morning to you, Sean. Glad to have you with us. Thank you for your support. Appreciate you, you, Tom, and Tina for always being right connected with us and engaged. And so it's a privilege to see those names who are a regular part of our community. Glad to have you with us. So hit that like button, and then that share button is preeminent because every time you share, you help us to get more people exposed to what we're doing. And that's really organic growth, you know. When you hit that share button, that's helpful because you put us into contact with more people who can be impacted by what we do. So blessings to you. Glad to have you. Honored to have you here with us today. Those of you who have been fasting with us the past 21 days, fast ended on yesterday. And some of us started late. You want to continue yours. Some people are ready to eat, and that's great. But just engage food slowly. When you fasted for a couple of weeks, you want to engage stuff slowly, and some things you want to consider not adding back or being more moderate with some things we've had prior to the fast. So just be thankful about that. Be thoughtful. Blessings to you, Thomas B. Kimball from Alabama. Honored to have you here with us today from Alabama, from the great state, our neighboring state. Blessings to you, Thomas. And so we're excited to have everybody with us. And welcome to February. And this is the shortest day of the year. Also African American History Month, which I think is also significant. So blessings to you. And we're very, very excited to have you with us today. And means the world to us. I want to get started today. I'm really excited about Galatians 5 and 6. This is we're entering to probably my favorite part of the whole book from a devotional perspective. And so I've been waiting to get to this part. And I really want to dive right into chapter 5 from the very beginning. But since we're going verse by verse, that wasn't the most advantageous way to do it. So we've walked through it for several months, and I want to thank y'all for taking this journey through Galatians with me. But today is significant. I'm excited about Galatians 5. We're going to spend some time next couple of weeks, maybe the rest of the month. It depends. With just Galatians 5, and we'll probably finish out chapter 6 next month in March. But we'll see because it's twice a week. I want to take my time with chapter 5 because it's so rich and so helpful. Today, our topic, Ulysses Johnson, blessings to you. Glad to have you here with us on Facebook. Today, our topic is one that is interesting. And today, we're going to call this our Burger King religion. Burger King religion. Burger King religion. I want to thank our producers. They're showing out this morning. Our Burger King religion is what we're going to talk about today. And some of you who watch commercials or like me or grew up, our YouTube family, welcome YouTube. Glad to have our YouTube family with us today. Everybody who's on YouTube, blessing to you. But Burger King has a moniker, and they have a commercial. Blessings to you, Geneva from Orlando. So it's chilly in Orlando. That's amazing. You normally don't associate chilliness with Florida, but I guess Orlando is Central Florida, so I get it. So welcome. That's a beautiful state of Florida. I love the state of Florida. You know, it's a beautiful state. Love the weather there. Don't like some of the politics, but anyway, it's another subject for another day. Good morning to you, Kia Stevens from Goldsboro, North Carolina. Blessings to you. Glad to have you with us this morning, Kia. Welcome. Appreciate you for being a part with us today. But Burger King has a commercial. I don't know where they had one when I was growing up, and I don't know if that's still the case today, but one of the lines, Colleen Watson MacGyver, can you prayers of Treaty? Please keep my daughter's Treaty and family in your prayers. We lost her husband Jarrell to COVID, and he was laid to rest January 26th. Okay, Colleen Watson MacGyver, blessings to you. We would do that. It's a treaty. She lost her husband Jarrell to COVID. Wow, so sad. Sad to hear that. So sad to hear that. I know it's a treaty. One of my homegirls back home. But anyway, what is that? The connection. When I was growing up, they had a commercial, and they called it Burger King, and the whole line was, "You can have it your way." I don't. I good morning to you, Brian Ward. I don't know if that's still. Has anybody heard? Anybody worked at Burger King? Because it meant you can get the Whopper, you can have whatever you want, you can have it your way. Nothing like those Burger King. When I was a boy, we had a Burger King. We had a salad bar at the Burger King. Man, we go play football, and we go eat and get our drink, make a salad. They had a salad bar in Burger King. That's been some years ago. I was in high school then, and that line of that commercial was, "You can have it your way," which means how you want to order it. You want to get it with no mayo, you can have it your way. If you went to McDonald's, you can't order when you order Big Mac. There's little Big Macs too. 2 all beef patties, special sauce, pickles, lettuce, onions on a sesame seed bun. Right? That was when you go to order the Big Mac. The Big Mac is already, it makes the Big Mac 2 all beef patties, special sauce, pickles, lettuce, onions on a sesame seed bun. That's the Big Mac. I don't care where you go around the world. When you order the Big Mac, it's going to be 2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun. If you go to Big Mac and if you go to London, England, and ask for a Big Mac, then the same Big Mac that's sold in Victorville, California, in the state of Alabama, the same one that's sold in Orlando, Florida. You worked there, Benita, at the same time. I got you. You worked there. So wherever you go, the Big Mac is going to be the same. When you order a quarter pounder, it's going to be the same. And so I believe, and I'm not sure if this was the marketing strategy behind it. I kind of think it was. I kind of think that Burger King wanted to come up with something that was going to kind of shade the Big Mac. So I think the Whopper was something. So whereas Burger King sold the Whopper, McDonald's sold the Big Mac. Y'all can tell I've been fasting for 3 weeks, can't you? All right. So there's a difference between Burger King and McDonald's, right? McDonald's, the Big Mac, we know exactly what's going to be on it. It comes fixed. You can't deviate. When you order Big Mac, you got to get the Big Mac, and it's standard. All the ingredients are already there. All you can do is order it. There are no deviations. There are no special. When you order Big Mac, you order Big Mac. But when you go to Burger King, you can decide if you want extra pickles. I just get mine with extra pickles and extra onions. You can decide you want to get yours with no mayo. You can decide if you want to go to Burger King, if you want to add cheese to it. And so they said you can have it your way. The young folks call that shade now. To me, I think it was shading. They were trying to shade McDonald's and the Big Mac. Now I thought about it. Because whereas the Big Mac was static, and this is what you had to take all the ingredients, Burger King, you can pick and choose, make it what you want to make it. And so they call it, you can have it your way. I really think that was to shade, try to throw off, and try to make a point, to try to poke the bear with McDonald's. I believe that's what it was. And so it was called, you can have it your way. If you want to add pickles to it, like I used to do mine, extra pickles and extra onions, my goodness. And those things were huge back in the day. Now they make them, they look like little sausage biscuits. Everything is smaller now in portion size. but going up in price. But anyway, I can go to Burger King back in the day and get me two Whoppers at the football practice, at the basketball practice. I eat two of those meals. You do that when you're young, high metabolism. We pack that place out, but you can have it your way. And I think when many of us, and while we appreciate the options that Burger King offered or still offers, now they got a good vegan burger there at Burger King. You go get it, and it's plant based. It's pretty good. I've had one in the past. Pretty good. It's all vegan based, and you would think that you're eating meat, but it's pretty good. Burger King has one of the best vegan burgers you can get. Right? Um, you can have it your way. And I think while that is wonderful from a perspective of food, that's it, Tosh. That's it. The Impossible Burger. That's the one I'm talking about. And so while we can go to Burger King and ask for different types of options, and they can add certain things and delete certain things, and that's wonderful from a food perspective. But unfortunately, I believe that sometimes we have taken that mentality, you can have it your way, which is great with food, but it's not so good in terms of faith. You can have it your way. That may be good with a burger, but not so good as it relates to the Bible. And Paul here, as he speaks to the church of Galatians, even though Burger King did not exist during that time, the Message Bible seems to indicate that many people have looked at faith the same way that some of us have looked at our food culinary options and the way we looked at Burger King. When you look at it in Galatians 5, and I want to look at it right quick, I'm not going to hold you long. Paul says, it is obvious what kind of life develops out of trying to get your own way all the time. Wanting to have it your way. He says, and the problem with many of us, which was the problem with the people of Galatia, some of the Judaizers who wanted their faith to be their way. Some of the Galatian people who have been newly converted to the faith wanting to see Christianity and this movement called the way through their own lenses. And Paul says that the challenge that they had, that sometimes many of us have, is we want Burger King religion. It is trying to have it your way. We order what we want. Give me extra pickles. Give me extra onions. But leave out the mayo. Some of us, we desire to have the Impossible Whopper food choice when it comes to messages and faith. Give me the stuff that makes us, give me the pickles and the onions, but leave out the meat. You know, we want to have faith in God, but we're still on the milk. We still drinking milk. We don't want the meat of the word. Some of us have become spiritually vegan. We eat everything except the meat. And what Paul is saying here is that when it comes to your faith in God, and when it comes to this, there's a danger when you try to get everything your way all the time. When you want to have things your way all the time, this is not a Burger King religion. And here's what he says. He says, and because some people have had a Burger King religion mentality, he says there are several things that kind of will let you know if you have a Burger King kind of faith. I'm going to talk about this for the next couple weeks, a Burger King religion. I'm going to give you 4 quick things. I'm going to let you go. I want you to ponder these things today, because these things all are descriptive of what this whole Burger King religion is. You know, do we want it our way? You know, do we want we still on the milk because that tastes good, but we don't want the meat. The impossible burger faith. All the extras, all the toppings, but at the source there's no meat. And so as a result, we don't have no protein. And because we don't have any protein, we don't have any strength. We can't deal with the pressures and pains, and because there's no meat, there's no root that holds us and sustains us. And I'm talking spiritual. I'm not talking about vegan choices. I'm not talking about what you do from a food perspective, physical food that goes in your mouth. I'm using that metaphor for spirituality. A lot of us are spiritually vegan, and being vegan may be great. It's a wonderful thing. You know, if that's what you choose to do from a food perspective. That's wonderful. People are considering their health and how it makes them feel and how it makes them look. That's a wonderful thing. But I'm talking here spiritually, and how does this affect us? And so Paul says that when people have a Burger King religion mentality, he says there's several things that will describe that. Several things are descriptive of that. Number one, the first thing he suggests is when you have a Burger King religion, Lord have mercy, you got it. When you have a Burger King religion, he says the Burger King religion is described or personified with being self-absorbed and conceited. We talked about selfishness versus self-interest a couple weeks ago. I missed you guys last week, and I apologize. Last Tuesday I had to do a session with the AME Church. Good morning to you, Jerry. Poor on YouTube. I missed you guys last week so much. I had to do something Tuesday and Thursday. I was filming, doing something else. I missed you guys last week. But self-absorbed and conceited, and look what he said in that scripture. Y'all, please share this. If you go back to the scripture for a minute, look what he says about that. He says, "It is obvious what kind of life develops out of trying to get your own way all the time. All the time, when it's all about you and me. When it's all about what you can get. When it's all about how it can benefit you." Thank you. You put it back on me now. That's the challenge of self-absorbed religion and Burger King religion. When you put yourself, when we center ourselves in everything, when everything ultimately has to come back to us. And there's a difference between, we talk about the first law of nature being self-preservation, but there's a difference between self-preservation and self-absorption. When everything is about the individual, when who you talk to, what you do, when the whole concern is how does this benefit me? It's never about anybody else. It's never about the team. It's never about how it makes it better for everybody else. When it's all about how do I benefit? How does this work for me? How does it secure my bag? How does this take me higher? You know, we saw this old Janet Jackson documentary the past couple of days, and some of us some of y'all like me loved Janet back in the day and loved the music and the Jacksons. And we got this whole "What have you done for me lately?" Ooh, yeah. And many of us have brought that into our faith, where it's all about us. And when everything we do is not cross-centered, it's not community-centered, it's not for the culture, it's not for the church, it's not for the core, it's not for our colleagues, it's not for our companions, it's all about me. And unfortunately, even when we come to faith, sometimes we make faith all about us, never sacrifice. All about who can I get along, who can I use, how does this push me higher? And you'd be surprised how many people don't know that they have a Burger King religion because everything they do, they look at it from the lens. Sometimes I've seen people even in the workplace. It's funny, I was talking to my colleagues last week at the conference, the AME conference Tuesday and Wednesday. I did a panel discussion and I shared some things with them, just resources that we can use. And two pastors came to me afterwards. One was a man, one was a lady in the AME church, and they came literally in tears. And I'm like, okay, I didn't know what was going on afterwards. And here's a comment they made. We've been in the pandemic for 2 years trying to pastor church. And things you shared with us today, we couldn't get this information anywhere else. Just tools we've been overwhelmed, blah, 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 and nobody would share the information. And we're just thankful that you just shared with us. And it just made me really think how something that was not even something that cost me nothing. Something that I would do my colleagues in casual conversation. And I've had this conversation. Blessings to you. Blessings to you, Deanna from Lanier from San Bernardino. We come on every Tuesday. We come on every day. Thanks for being a part. First time. Y'all show some Diana some love on Facebook, Diana Lanier. This comes on every Tuesday and every Thursday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6:30 Pacific Standard. It's called Morning Dew. But we come on Tuesday, Thursday, and then on Friday at 10 a.m. But we have programming all day on this channel. But we love to, y'all somebody please show Diana some love on Facebook. This is our first time walking from San Bernardino. We also have Tom Lyon on from Victorville, California. Diana, some blessings to you. I love when I see new people come on for the first time. But back to that point, but they were sharing about how people, we couldn't get this information. And we've been in the pandemic for almost 2 years and never knew how easy this stuff was to do a virtual ministry. And it hit me. Is it that sometimes we can be so self-absorbed that we don't share? Is it we become so self-absorbed that we don't look out and see the concerns of others? Sunday, I heard about this young lady, Chesley, young lady who was Miss America 2019, an attorney, and how she jumped, how she died by suicide this past Sunday in New York. And 30 years old, bright and beautiful, and she was a former athlete. And sometimes it makes me wonder how we can be around people sometimes. And I know this is not Depression Month, but it really made me think. Sometimes can we be around people who are hurting, and yet because we are not discerning enough or prayerful enough? When was the last time we ever stopped just to ask people, how are you doing? Which was one of the things that I watched the Janet Jackson documentary. One thing that was interesting, she became good friends with her creative director simply because one day she was going through some things, and he said he just asked her, how are you doing? You know, sometimes we can be so absorbed with ourselves or get into the next place that we don't even ask people anymore, how are you? And then to pause long enough to listen. Could we be so self-absorbed about our business and doing what we do that we've never stopped long enough just to ask, how are you? And it was absolutely painful for me to hear about that story of so much promise. And there's so many people who lack hope in the world. And I really believe that in this time that we have to check our faith. That do we have Burger King religion where all that we're doing now is about us? We don't even care no more, have community. And so self-absorbed religion. And I think we live in a time now that's going to make us ask the question. And Paul said, and that's what really Paul says here in that 5th chapter of Galatians. Put that scripture up. He says, when you think about when everything's about having it your way, all right? It's kind of like, it's obvious, he said, what kind of life develops out of trying to get your own way all the time. Trying to get your way all the time. Put the camera back on me for a second. Let me ask you another question. It made me think about this even in relationships. How many of us don't do well relationally because we think it's all about us? Some of you who are married right now, how many married couples struggle because somebody in marriage makes it all about them? There's no compromise. There's no what you want to eat. It's all about what you want to eat, where you want to go, what benefits you. Even in relationships, platonic, romantic, spiritual, it's all about you. You know, if you're a pastor that you have staff people under you, you know, do you put them in the best position to succeed? If you're a pastor and you have young ministers, do you give them an opportunity to grow? Or is it all about you? Do you share your platform? Or if you're a young minister on staff of the church, are you there just for how you can benefit from the ministry? And you're there as long as you can benefit, but once that benefit is gone, you're gone. Sometimes in relationships, opportunity controls our loyalty. Opportunity controls our love. We'll be loyal and we'll be loving as long as the opportunity is there. And as soon as a better opportunity comes, we're gone. And I think Paul says that's it. When you have that kind of life where it's all about how it benefits you, he says that's really life that's not led by a fruit of the spirit. I just want to challenge that seed today. That is that seed of selfishness in us. I believe we're all born with the proclivity and the propensity and the potential to be selfish. Um, I believe we're all born. It's easy for us to be carnal and to be about ourselves and to be self-preserving. But self-absorption and self-preservation, not the same thing. Yes, the greatest love of all is learning to love yourself. There's a difference between loving yourself first and centering yourself in everything, right? So very, 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 very necessary point that I want to share with everybody. Um, Burger King religion is self-absorbed and it's conceited. And I really think we see so much of this in our world where everything, social media is about our pictures, our filters, our images, our page, our fans, our likes. And we live in a world that sometimes it's all about our likes, our images. But Paul talks about, and I call it Burger King religion, it's self-absorbed and it's conceited because it's all about the individual. Okay, a couple more things. Let me go to the next one. All right. Got Bro Maxwell. Brother Maxwell is on YouTube. YouTube family, y'all welcome Brother Maxwell for the first time. Let me get point two. Let me hurry. I'm over my time. He says Burger King religion. Paul talks about in terms of it seeks sex that's cheap. Whoa. Paul takes it to another level. I'm just going through the scriptures right here. I didn't write any of this, family. I'm just going through the scriptures. He says when a person has a Burger King religion, they want to choose things their way. The way Eugene Peterson puts it in the Message Bible is they desire sex that's cheap. Look what he says. He says, it is obvious what kind of life develops out of trying to get your way all the time. That's Burger King religion. Self-absorbed, conceited. He says, now check this out. He says, here's a problem. Here's one characteristic. Repetitive, loveless, cheap sex. Whoa. Repetitive, loveless, cheap sex. Repetitive, loveless, cheap sex. Put that back on me for a second. Now he takes it to another level in this conversation. Paul says that sometimes when people are all about them, that it's all about what pleases them. Here's the description here, which is a very beautiful piece. And I can talk more, but I can spend the whole month talking about that one point, really, but I don't want to do that today. Maybe for a little conversation, because it's a very necessary conversation. Paul says that people take a very utilitarian view of others. In other words, what he's saying here is that when you chose a Burger King religion, you even look through people for how people can please you or serve your best interest. He says when people become so self-absorbed, as a Burger King religion, it's self-absorbed, conceited. He says, blessings to you, Ronnie Jenkins from Louisville, Kentucky. Blessings to you on YouTube. He says the other challenge is you look at people for how they can make me feel. He says what happens sometimes is we're supposed to use things and love people. He says, but when you have Burger King religion, you end up loving things and using people. We're supposed to love people and use things. But Burger King religion will make you use people and love things. Good morning, Tempia Hubbard. He says, and this is what happens a lot of times in relationships, that you become so self-absorbed that you allow yourself to be involved in loveless, repetitive, cheap sex. It's a very heavy topic because one of the things when you think about men a lot of times, and I'm saying I've heard women had the same conversations. Typically, in the past, you know, one of the characteristics of some men, a lot of men, and I want to stereotype, and this is a generalization here, that men in general, have been have a pathology that's more likely that will allow a man coming up, particularly how we've been socialized here. A man can engage in a sexual act with a woman and have no attachment, no emotions to it. It's just a man who's self-absorbed, a man who's not spirit-led, you know, can engage in a sexual uh, relationship with no attachments, no strings attached, and it's for the moment. And sometimes our culture celebrates that. Too often that's been a normalization of that. And typically, generally speaking, a woman has been more likely to be able to, typically, generally, there are exceptions to the rule. When a woman shares her body with a man, typically there's an attachment, there's a feeling, there's a care. Women generally, and this is generally, and the generalization here is that historically, if a woman shares her body, there's some affinity, there's some attachment, there's some regard, there's some respect, there's some care, there's some admiration, there's love, there are feelings there. And I'm speaking here generally, I'm speaking practically. This is not a spiritual diatribe about biblical sexuality. I'm just giving you generalizations about how sexuality, apart from any faith context. And where a man is more visual and the and whereas a woman is more emotional in terms of this whole piece. And unfortunately, the way we've normalized sexuality, and I would say this is true in many communities. Apart from faith, just have it your way is you respond to your hormones. It's the way a lot of our boys, a lot of men who brought up, in homes where we weren't taught correctly. When a boy goes to the prom, there are certain expectations of him and certain things that a young boy, teenage boy can get away with that we wouldn't do on our young girl. If a young boy was being sexually active at an early age, he's just been a boy sowing his wild oats. If a young boy in high school had 2 or 3 sexual partners, we say he's just sowing his wild up. He's been mannish. If a young girl did the same thing in high school, we say she fast. He's been normal. We say she's been whorish. She's fast in the britches. Just how we've normalized this. And Paul says that when you look at people, here's the whole principle he's making. When you can repetitively do things to satisfy and satiate your own appetites, Paul's saying at that moment you've got a Burger King religion because it's all about how it benefits you. His point is sex, but it's really a principle for life. How you can engage with people who don't have any regard, no care, whatever. You're in that moment, and once they're out of sight, out of mind, boom. No regard for them, their well-being, who they are. That's really what he's saying. So he talks about it in context of sex, but it's really a principle of life. It's a utilitarian perspective to people. You just use people. Whatever's in the moment gonna make you feel better. Joseph Fletcher once called that situational ethics. Whatever helps you to come up, whatever makes you feel better, whatever pleases you. No attachment, but forget their humanity, forget that person is an object, that person is a tool for your pleasure or for your, in terms of sex, it's typically more, with how the world has been socialized. All of us have been around it. You know, when I was a boy, when I was coming to college, they told me the Atlanta University Center that there was 7 women for every 1 man. When I left Middle Georgia, moved to Atlanta, Georgia, at 18 years of age, my agenda and all my colleagues, everybody around me, hey man, you go there, there's 7 women in the AU Center. Spelman is right across the street. Clark is right there. Morris Brown is here. Georgia Tech is right around the corner. 7 women to every 1 man. And so for me, the whole mentality was, you go to Atlanta, you go to get your 7. That was the whole mentality, the whole perspective for many people. And unfortunately, it's a utilitarian perspective on life. That you go and use people. Now I've seen some women that look at men the same way. I don't like him. I'm not interested in him. But he can buy me a Birkin purse, or he can give me a Chanel this or Gucci this, or take me on vacation. Hence, you can see so many 20-year-old IG models on the beach with 60-year-old men, right? You're exactly right, Michelle. And unfortunately, friendships have become the same way. We look at people. He speaks in terms of sex, but the deeper issue is when you use people to satiate whatever your desire is, whatever that need is. And right now, he's speaking in terms of sex because that's a great way to understand it, because it happens, but it happens in a lot of other ways. Just repetitive, loveless, no connection, just cheap, whatever thrills me in the moment, whatever makes me feel better in the moment. And sometimes it's a coping mechanism, I believe. Sometimes it's the sign that something is missing. There's a deeper problem. I think when you can look at people, when men can look at women and just repetitively, just see them as a tool and object for my own sexual release or gratification, it's a sign that somebody is off. It's a sign that there's a disconnect. Somebody hadn't been fasting. Somebody's not praying. Somebody's not been at the altar. It also can mean that something is off emotionally. I've seen people who chase after sex because they try to find a way to cope with the emptiness and the brokenness. It's the only thing that makes them feel sometimes a sense of appreciation or attachment or connection, that somebody's interested. I've seen women to allow themselves to be used because they feel that they never got love from a father, or never got love, or they were broken and they were hurt. So it's a way to make up that amends for that. And so often, but when you think about it, it's a Burger King religion, because it's a sign of a lack of wholeness. And you can't pick and choose. God wants us to be whole, spiritually, emotionally, and physically. And sometimes it's a sign of brokenness. If something is broken when we continue to use people for our own gain. He speaks in context with sex. And I think that's a great way to understand it, but it's deeper in a lot of ways. So Burger King religion is self-absorbed, it's conceited. It also seeks sex that's cheap. Yeah, self-absorbed and it's conceited, but it also seeks sex that's cheap. How do I feel better? How do I get better? How do I get a relief? And if that means hurting people, it doesn't matter who it hurts. Doesn't matter if there's an attachment coming both ways. It just let me cope. Let me be in the moment. This makes me feel better, whatever. And I just think that, and what happens is this kind of acting out of brokenness just creates more brokenness. No regard, no concern. It's just cheap, repetitive. There's no love. There's no care. And I think that's how we look at people. Put the scripture back up there for a second. Yeah, it's a sign of a lack of wholeness. Put the scripture back up there. I hope y'all getting this. He says, so it's obvious what Burger King religion produces. It's self-absorbed and conceited. That means you're trying to get things your way all the time. Listen, repetitive, loveless, cheap sex. Where this is all about me. I got to get me. Forget whatever else. And we try to justify sometimes. YOLO. You know, you only live one time. You know what I mean? You know, you only live one time. Enjoy life. Do what you got to do. Feel better. What have you done for me lately? I'm going to get mine. So it's just problematic. That's the third one he says. There's another thing that Burger King religion produces, number three. And I'll call this stuck, stinking, and contaminated. That's what Burger King religion will do for you. Not only it's self-absorbed and it's conceited. It seeks sex that's cheap, but it's Burger King religion is stuck, stinking, and contaminated. It's stuck, it stinks, and it's contaminated. Look at the scripture. It's right here. This is very rich. I love it. I told you I've been waiting for this chapter 5. It's just very, very powerful. Look what he says. It is obvious what kind of life develops out of trying to get your way all the time. That's the self-absorbed and conceited. Repetitive, loveless, cheap sex that's cheap. Then look what he says here. A stinking accumulation of mental and emotional garbage. I'm going to stop here for today. A stinking accumulation of mental and emotional garbage. He says what happens when you and I, really in this case, it's almost as if you let me use this analogy, although I prefer Burger King burger food to McDonald's any day of the week, you know. Even though when I was young, I eat all of them, you know what I'm saying? For those y'all who, Burger King just, it's char, on the grill, for me, I just prefer it, right? But I would take McDonald's fries. Y'all pray for me. And take the drink from Crystal. Now you talking about a meal. You get a Burger King burger, McDonald's fries, Crystal soda, and a salad from Wendy's, or lemonade from Chick-fil-A. Oh man, you're doing the doggone thing. But anyway, let me get back to my lesson. When you go to McDonald's to get a Big Mac, here is what you got to take: 2 all beef patties, special sauce, pickles, lettuce, onions on a sesame seed bun. Burger King, you have it your way. You let me use this analogy. It is almost as if Paul is saying that we need a Big Mac mentality when it comes to some things with faith rather than the Whopper, Burger King. You need McDonald's, because McDonald's, you got to take the whole piece. You can't pick and choose. Burger King, you can kind of leave out what you want. That's what it is, Adrian. That's exactly what it is. Fasting withdrawals and no breakfast. You are exactly right. And you go get both of them. But anyway, Paul is seemingly saying here that the Big Mac is really spiritual, from a spiritual perspective. Here's what you got to have. I want you to work on yourself where you take all these characteristics. He's going to name the fruit. He said, here's some things that not being connected with God. If you're connected with the Spirit and you want to be God's way, not your way. If not, you're gonna have all these other things that you're gonna take, and you can leave, pick, choose, and next thing you know, you're so far away, and now you feel, and in your emotional and your mental, nothing but a stinking accumulation of mental and emotional garbage. Now, because you've chosen your way, it's almost like a kid. All you want to eat is fast foods, and there are no vegetables that you haven't flushed out your system. It's almost like we never want to do green stuff that's green. It's almost from a food perspective, he's saying, you need something that's plant-based. Plants, need some greens, need some vegetables. So you can flush out the garbage. You can flush out the emotions. Because what he says is, if you don't end up checking yourself, you end up wrecking yourself. Because you'll be filled with all types of emotional and mental garbage. Because you made it about you. You've allowed your hurts to stay in your heart and your spirit. You've allowed the betrayals, and what has happened is betrayals and hurts can make you start to look through everything through a lens of pain. And so since they got you the last time, this time, nobody's gonna get me anymore. I'm gonna do what I wanna do. I'm gonna live. Since he cheated on me last time, I'm gonna cheat on him next time. Since she broke my heart the first time, I'm not going to be faithful the second time. And so now, because we have got disconnected from God, what happens inevitably is we end up never connecting to our power source. Mental and emotional garbage. I'm going to ask us a question today. When do we ever clean out the mental and the emotional garbage? Have we been so absorbed with ourselves that we don't know that we're filled with mental and emotional garbage? That's stinking. And is this the reason why when we walk into relationships, we bring the aroma that's unpleasant? We don't even know we smell. Because emotionally we stink. You can smell good physically, but your emotions, your attitude, your personality stinks. Self-absorbed and conceited people have a stinking attitude because their thinking is stinking. And because your thinking and our thinking can be stinking, everything about us stinks because as a person thinks, so is he or she. What kind of mental and emotional garbage has accumulated in us because we got Burger King religion? We're stuck, we can't move, and we're contaminated. And every place we go, we're contaminated. It could be that that's what we cause hurt. And every place we go, we contaminated. If God did give you a good relationship and you're a single person, because you have not healed from the emotional and mental garbage, you're going to contaminate the next one. God can give you somebody who will love you and take care of you, but because you're not healed from the previous one, you bring that contamination everywhere. It's possible for that to be a young lady, right, who's watching right now, that God will give you the king that you've always desired. It's possible. But because you were broken by somebody else, that you make the new guy pay a tax for something that he never did. Goes both ways with it. So possible for a man to be so full of himself that our actions, we don't care who we hurt. And a lot of times hurt people hurt people. I had to look at my life. I think we all need to look at our lives. That some of the emotional, mental garbage that we carry, some of it can be from our childhood. I found this out. Some of us were not loved well as children. And because we weren't loved well as children, it's hard for us to love well as adults. We got to be aware of our stinking thing. That's right, Tom. When you and I were not loved well as children, sometimes it's hard to love well when we become adults. When we experienced trauma before, I said to you again, I said to you a few weeks ago, trouble, we sing the song, I'm so glad trouble don't last always. It's a song we sing, the old Negro song, I'm so glad trouble don't last always. But trouble don't last always, but trauma does. And I think sometimes many of us treat each other out of a traumatic perspective. And then sometimes when you've been traumatized, if you're not careful, even in relationships, because of the accumulation of emotional and mental baggage, a person who's had trauma finds themselves attracted to other people who've been traumatized. And so we create what's called trauma bonds. You ever wonder why sometimes you may attract people who are broken? Because you are, John Maxwell says, there's a law of attraction. You are what you attract. And one of the things I've discovered is sometimes in life, brokenness attracts brokenness. And could it be that we attract brokenness because of the mental guard? You know, my good friend and big brother John P. Key, last week, just had a hard week last week, kept hearing some noises up in his attic in his house in North Carolina. And so it was so loud they literally thought human beings were living in his attic. So he called a company, and I'm almost finished. They came and set cameras up in the attic, only to discover that he had possums literally the size of small dogs, had somehow eaten through the wood of his house, and whole families of possums. Like, I mean, they thought it was a raccoon, not just a squirrel. You had possums living in the attic. Then they said this, it was very interesting, that when they ate through the wood to get into his attic, that the smell that the possums or raccoons, animals leave their own scent in those places. And that attracts other possums because of the smell of it. The Holy Spirit started speaking to me. And so he ended up with a whole attic full of possums, like raccoons. You couldn't tell it was a raccoon or a possum because one got in first and left the scent. And the scent of the possum started to attract other possums. Now he's got a whole attic that's filled with possums. Very big. It made me wonder, what do people smell from us? Can people smell the emotional and mental garbage that's accumulated because of our hurts or because of our selfishness? And we keep attracting in this scent because we've not purged and cleansed ourselves from the emotional accumulation of baggage and garbage. Do we have possums and raccoons in our spiritual attics because they can smell the garbage? Whether it be because of our own spirit, our own selfishness, our own struggles. Because of our thought process, our own traumas that's made us be all about ourselves. I'm letting you go today. But a Burger King religion is self-absorbed and conceited. Burger King religion seeks sex that's cheap. And a Burger King religion is stuck, stinking, and contaminated. Listen, Paul says today, I know you want it your way. But in order to be really whole and healed, healthy and holy, you can't have it your way. You can't have Burger King religion. We'll pick this up on Thursday at 9:30. I have Bible study tomorrow at noon and 7 p.m. So if you want to tune in to Bible study, I'm starting a new series tomorrow on Bible study. We're going to pick up Burger King religion Thursday for morning dew. Thursday at 9:30. Same place. Thursday 9:30. I'll pick this up. But I'll be back tomorrow at noon with Bible study and tomorrow evening with Bible study. 12 noon Eastern Standard, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard tomorrow for Bible study, a new series. And then, of course, tomorrow, Thursday, we'll do morning dew. We'll pick this back up. It's going to get better, y'all. Y'all have a great day this Tuesday. Some great things to ponder this month. Welcome to February. Enjoy February. Let's grow in February. And let's strive to not have a Burger King religion. I love you. And as always, remember this. If you'll be good to God, God will be good to you. Till next time, peace and love.
Set up free, y'all. Set up free, y'all. Set up free, y'all. Yes, I am.